Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome everyone to Beyond Boardroom Business. I'm your host, Coach Stephanie, and tonight is going to be an amazing guest. If you know anyone that loves poetry like I do, I mean, it's just an amazing type of talent to have. And I, as a book writing coach, I just love words. And so tonight's guest, he's an amazing gentleman. And without further ado, because he has so much more to him, let's get it from the king himself. So without further ado, let's bring on Mr. Kamal Speaks. Greetings. How are you?
Peace, goddess. How you doing?
I am feeling fabulous. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And thank you for asking. So, let's just dive right in. So who is Kamal Speaks?
I am who I say I am. That means there's no limitation but the ones I put on myself. So right now I express my powers through poetry. So I am what they call a poet and a spokesman for the people.
I like that.
I'm an author, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend. I could be an enemy. So, all of the above.
Right now, how did you get started with poetry?
Uh, Actually, I was sleeping in my van. I was homeless. Well, let me take it back. I wrote two poems like I'm 47. I wrote two poems like when I was like 17. I was in jail. I wrote one to keep my baby mother. I wrote another one to try to get a girl. And I never considered myself a poet. I ain't have nothing else to give them. I was in jail, so I wrote two poems, never looked back. But then in 2020, I was homeless, sleeping in my van. And when you sleeping in your van, nobody calling you. It's no TV. It's no nothing. There's nothing blocking you from being with you. So I had a lot of deep conversations, a lot of studying myself, my environment, my surroundings. And after doing all that, I just had a lot to say. And I was like, man, I need to speak. What can I do? And back in my mind said, write a poem. And I wrote a poem in 2020 and never looked back.
Hmm. So what does it take to be a poet?
I don't know what it takes to be a poet. I know life is poetry.
What do
And
you mean by that?
life is poetry. I mean, we just reciting life. We reciting what's going on. So
Hmm.
poetry. So your everyday walk of life is a poem.
Okay. I love how you said you are a father, a son, a friend. I mean, I really think that's cool. So when you wrote your book, what inspired that?
Actually, it's because things was moving funny with my movie, right? And I
Okay.
said, man, I gotta have my legacy on this chapter in my life. I
Mm.
said my movie was going to be my legacy, but it was some funny movements going on, and I was like, man, I can't play no games. I got a whole movie inside of me, so I wrote the book.
Oh, okay. So is the book the movie?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, the book is not the movie. The book is nowhere close to the movie.
Okay. What is the movie about? And then I'll talk about the book.
Well, the movie is about poetry, pandemic, injustice. It's all based on the time of the pandemic. Um,
Mm.
as far as how people had to go to the internet to do poetry, surrounding the issues around that time, and also my life story of everything I went through. And we have several of us poets involved, like K Love, she's in the movie. Ob West is in the movie. Mr. Witts he's from Brooklyn, but out of Charlotte, in the movie. Brandon Leak in the movie. Um, it's a couple of other people, plus Yandy from Love and Hip Hop, Spliff Star. We got Michael Collier. We got a bunch of people in the movie, but it's a dope movie.
Okay. Where can we find it?
It's going. Well, right now we're working on some technical stuff with the captions. It should be out very, very soon.
Oh, wow. All right. All right. Awesome. And so you wrote the movie, or you?
It's a documentary.
Oh, okay. 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 How long did it take you to put the documentary together?
3 years.
Wow. Wow. Okay. That's really cool. And is it going to be in film festivals?
It's already in film festivals.
Okay. Oh, what's the name of it?
Spoken Truth.
Spoken Truth. All right. I'm going to look it up. Okay. And so now let's talk about your book. What's the name of your book?
It's Word, Thoughts, and Manifestation. Like I said, it's 17 powerful poems with accompanied by 17 powerful stories. So each chapter, you have a poem, then the story, what inspired the poem, the story behind the poem. Because every time something is okay, it's like I got the poem, right?
Okay.
That everybody loved. Like it became one of my, like, I don't like to say this, but people say it's signature poems, right? It's
Okay.
can we curse?
Yes.
It's the bad bitch poem, right? Where I
Okay.
tell my black sisters in the poem, stop calling yourself a bad bitch, right? But I give them all the negative stereotypes that come with that they become when you entitle yourself that, because you speak what you are into existence.
Right.
So the way I came up with that poem was, it was crazy. I'm at Apache. I just wrote this poem for the sisters. It's a powerful, uplifting poem, and it's a packed house. And I'm not gonna say packed wall to wall, but it's a packed house, about 80 people, and mostly women. It was about, out of 80 people, it had to be 65 women. So I'm like, all right, yeah, it's the perfect spot for this poem. So I do the poem, and they like, okay. So then the girl goes up behind me and she does a poem, but it's about bad bitch shit. I'm like, and they going crazy, yes, bitch. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these ain't black women, these are bitches.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's what made me write the poem, and it was more that went into that night. So if I put that, like, I plan to put that poem in my book as part two, in my part two book, but the story behind that, it gets much deeper than that. You feel me? So like that's how you get the stories of like what happened. The poem is great, but the story behind the poem is always better.
Right. Wow. And that is so true. I'm so glad that you are trying to enlighten the sisters, because I wrote my first book, and it's right here, and it's called Image is Everything. What does your image say about you? And I wrote this um, when I was in Apex Museum. The founder, Mr. Moore, and he and I were having a conversation. And that's when the Housewives just came out. This book was written in 2012. And I said, I'm tired of women calling each other the B word, because I'm not one, and I'm not going to allow anyone to call me that. And I'm thinking about the younger generations, and they have to look at television when they're home, and they think that this is normal to throw champagne on each other and call each other a B. And I'm like, that's not cool. And so he said, well, what are you going to do about it? And he was the one that inspired me to write this first book. And I mean, the rest is history, because I've toured across the country with it. And it's the same thing. It's about enlightening us, African American women in particular, that we are not bitches. I mean, we are queens and we are women. And it's really unfortunate that they are falling for the hype, because the whole purpose of making us feel comfortable with that term is because they don't want us to really see how special we are. And it's like it's working.
Well, to get comfortable with that term is it's the later phases of their plan. See, their plan. See, people don't understand. They say, "Oh, it's a war on the black man." Yes, but it's, and I'm gonna be honest. I only say black so people can understand. We would never call black. We never call ourselves that. That was never our name.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us the name black, but
Right.
just so people can understand.
Mm-hmm.
The black man is under fire, yes, but not the way you think. The the war is to attack the women and the children. That's how you win the war.
Right.
When you separate a household, that's how you destroy a nation. So they're attacking the women. So when you have no pride within yourself, you call yourself a dog, not even a good dog, a bad dog. That's what a dog in heat. You a bad bitch, a dog in heat, a bad dog. So them words are powerful.
Yes.
You know, a dog eat his own shit, do whatever, and that's what you. That's if you look at every woman who call herself a bad bitch, they betray the acts of a bad dog.
You are so
They're,
right.
they're living anyway, you know. But this programming has
Whew.
put it out to our people, and they're gonna attack the women. Like I was just talking to my cousin. So funny you said 2012. I remember in 2012 and all that. When I tell you, I'm a multi-millionaire. I used to be on the hunt. You know, I get hoes, bitches. You know, and because my mindset was different.
Right.
And I'm talking to my cousin today. He's like, man, you so different. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and I was talking to him about the women nowadays. I said, damn, man, everybody's hoes. He said, yeah, look, as soon as you want to change, that's when everybody become hoes. I said, yeah. I said, because in my day, all the way up, I'm gonna be honest, it really started getting real crazy, like 2017, 18, when
Okay.
all the women just start really. But over the pandemic time, every girl is cool with being a hoe.
Mm.
And I'm just like, I'm not gonna say every girl, I'm gonna say
Right.
majority
Right.
of women. It's crazy. That's like the new thing. You know
Yeah.
what's so crazy? I was like, I'm on a different time zone now. In my mind, I'm in a different time zone. So I just don't, have sex with women right away. I'm not trying to. I know soul ties is real and all that. I actually, at me changing, I actually went celibate for like 2 years.
Wow.
And I
Oh,
said, I'm gonna get to know a woman before I have sex with her. Blah 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 blah. And I was doing that. And I would go on dates with women and everything. And I had this one girl. I went over to her house twice. We kicked in the living room. Didn't ask to see her room or nothing. She was like, "You've been over here twice and you ain't trying to fuck. What's wrong with you?" I said,
wow.
"I know you." But that's the mindset right now.
Mm.
So when they approach differently, they see something wrong with it because they're not used to a man taking his time. You feel me? They're
Right.
living in a TV world, an Instagram world, when they're not values and integrity. The soul itself is up for sale.
Mm. Sweet.
So we're in a dangerous time, and we are the target. Us, the melanin people, are the target.
Yeah.
So, the only way we can regain power is to strengthen the household. By strengthening the household, I'm gonna be honest, our women need to be retrained. And I hear a lot of people say stupid stuff. What about the men? Trust me, the women change, the men will follow.
That's true.
So it starts with the woman.
Okay.
Men do everything to learn women.
Mm-hmm.
Men learn women.
That's true.
Because if you talk to a woman, she don't know shit about a man, even though she thinks she know about a man. Don't know nothing. But I can tell you everything about a woman because we study. We have to study. We have to get y'all. Y'all don't get us.
That's true. So how do we get to the women? How do we get them to understand who they are?
We gotta stop clapping, applauding. Okay, it's just like right now. You have some horrible looking chicks. And when I say horrible, like first and foremost, I think beauty lies within and it
Yeah.
shines to the outside. Okay, if you have a weight problem,
Yeah.
let's not say, oh, you're just beautiful the way you are. First and foremost, if you have a weight problem, that's a health problem.
Right. Right.
So we want to say, hey, listen, let's get it together. We don't want to shame you, but we want to tell you, no, you're not where you need to be at.
Yeah.
Let's get in shape. Let's stop applauding bad behavior.
Mm, true.
You know, I'm gonna be real with you. I just had this girl. She just told me, and this is just shortly. She just told me something she was going to do, and I was like, oh, nah. Like she was going to hang out, right?
Okay.
And what she was going to do and hang out with, I was like, I can't hang out with you no more
Mm,
because you gotta think about it. What if I get to like this girl and I have a child with this girl? My child has the chances to be exposed
you're right.
to her behaviors. Well, I'm just chilling. I'm not going to have no baby. You never know what happens when you give opportunity in space. And
Mm,
so, therefore, we got to stop applauding bad behavior. We must disassociate with them. Once people, like when I was growing up, it was shameful to be a hoe. So women didn't want to be associated with that. Women, if you called a black woman a bitch back in the days, that was a fight.
and that's true. Exactly. Exactly.
You know, the women calling themselves hoes. I'm the best hoe, honey. What the fuck? You the best hoe, really?
Yeah.
So it's
And
no integrity. They're teaching these. I'm telling you, our sisters are teaching the babies to be this way.
yeah. And that's why I'm doing my part, and you're doing your part, speaking in front of them. And I say each one reach 10, but you've reached a bigger audience. But it's so important. I mean, every generation it makes a difference, and we've come too far to result to situations like this. We are much more and much deeper, you know. So thank you for doing that. Um, and so you also mentioned that with your book that you give the poetry first, or you give the story behind the poem
I give the
first.
story behind the poem. Then
That's really nice.
yeah, so you have understanding of the poem. So everybody has their own interpretation when they hear a poem.
That
And
is
that's
true.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But to
Yeah.
have your own interpretation and have the poem and have the original interpretation, it just puts icing on the cake.
I agree, because you get into the mind of the person that actually put it together. So that is taking it to the next level. That's pretty creative.
Thank
Um, are you going to have any other books coming out?
you. Yeah, I'm doing part two to this. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, like you see, I'm in my office, my mini office.
Now, where did you get this voice from? It's so unique.
My father.
I know I'm not the first one to say anything, am I?
Well, no. My voice is my voice. I am who
That's right. That's right. That's true. And what's behind the power of I am?
I am is the most powerful thing you could ever say.
Why is that?
Because I am is what you become.
Mm, the power of words.
If I
Yeah.
say I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Even though I believe physical fiat is fake, but I'm a millionaire. If I say I'm powerful, I'm powerful. If I say I'm weak, I'm weak. If I say I'm broke, I'm broke. That's why we should use certain words.
Yeah.
I am is the most powerful thing you can ever become.
Ooh, powerful. Now, you mentioned that you were living in your vehicle. So, how did you get the inspiration to, you know, break that situation and thrive?
I mean, it's not. It's an inspiration. It's once you have a focus and a pathway in life, you move from where you're at.
Mm,
See, my I made these millions,
wow.
and then I found out money was fake. and
Mm.
the thing I was fighting and clawing to get really wasn't that important once I was there. Like, oh my goodness. So then it leveled, then it declined to the point where it crashed. I'm in my van with no focus or no direction. And
Yeah.
once I relearned myself and established what's important to me again and found purpose, then once you got purpose, you pick up and you go. You go towards the purpose. And that's what moves you.
That's true. Now, how do you find what's important? How does someone find what's important to them?
You gotta spend time with them. You gotta spend time with yourself. So, like right now, we do a lot of stuff that we think is fun. It's not fun. It's been programmed to us to be fun.
Ooh, like what?
Like partying, for instance, the way we party. Just like even I was just telling somebody this. I still fall victim to when I'm somewhere having a good time. I think I need a drink with that good time.
Mm, yeah, that's true.
You gotta really establish what's a good time to you. It's a lot of things that I want to do now that I never thought about doing because that wasn't presented to us.
Oh,
So we was presented with this is a good time. This is what you're supposed to do when you have money. This is how you're supposed to live. This is you're supposed to work until you can't feel your legs. You're supposed to
right.
all this stuff been programmed into us. We don't know what really fulfills us to today.
Mm,
Because we don't take that time. We went off of what was told to us, taught to us, and how we've been programmed further by the TV, by the phones, especially nowadays. We we have no originality. We mimic the curse that's been put onto us.
mm. So you mentioned that you went to the top, you became a millionaire, you went to the top and you
That
saw,
was in the top, but go ahead.
okay, and you realized that um, you were chasing the wrong dream, or how did you phrase it?
Well, no, I wouldn't say I was tracing the wrong dream.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
grateful that I did what I did because I had to see what I had to see for my next level. My uncle died, and he the one who taught me how to sell and everything. Taught me how
Okay.
to hustle. He
Wow.
was a bodyguard for Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X too.
Wow. My condolences.
Yeah, you know what he said to me? I lost everything, right? I'm sleeping in the van. I talked to him on the phone. He's like, man, you haven't even reached your highest greatness. I said, what are you talking about? In my mind, I ain't say that to him. I'm like, what are you talking about? I lost everything. He said, you got so much greatness coming.
Mm,
I just thought he was senile because he was kind of older. And now I really understood, you know? And
yeah.
plus, I had to go to that top to know that that's fake. Like, I'm more appreciative. I
Okay.
know it's simple more, it's things that are more simple that, like, for instance, I lived in the nicest places, big houses, condos, everything. Now I got a nice little one bedroom, and I feel at peace.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's
Because I was just going to say, being at peace is within. It doesn't matter the surroundings, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at peace. I have what they call $1 million ideas in this surrounding.
Yes. Mm. So, have you stepped into your calling yet?
Every day I live, I'm in my me being on here with you is my calling.
Yes.
Everything is it's not one simple thing, but it's not putting your energy all around the place either, because you'll never succeed anywhere. But part of my calling is to speak. That's why I chose the name Kamal Speaks. It's to speak and to speak power, speak enlightenment. Whether you have to shine on the darkness. So I'm gonna speak power into you, even if I have to call you out about your bad behavior. So me speaking is a part of my purpose. So I'm doing that 24/7. Like
Mm.
I'm a full-time poet. I don't do nothing but this lifestyle right here. That's
Wow.
how my income comes in and everything. Like
Nice.
when I get off this, I'm going out, sell me some books. Then I'm gonna perform. I do that every day.
Wow. Do you remember? I guess you mentioned you do remember your first speech. I was going to ask you that because you said you wrote two
My
poems.
first poem, yeah, I
Yes.
remember.
Wow. And that was for your girlfriend, you mentioned?
One for my baby mother, one for a girl that I grew up with, and her brother was locked up with me, and he was talking to her over the phone. I was like, "Yo, let me speak to her." So I was kicking it to her. She was like, "I don't want no thug. You a thug?" I said, "I ain't no thug. I'm sensitive. I write poetry." She was like, and I was lying like a motherfucker. She was like, "Well, write me a poem," and I wrote her a poem that night.
Wow. Wow. Little did you know that that was going to just take the rest of your life. Wow. That's amazing. Um, and so, what kind of advice would you give people who are interested in writing their thoughts in a poetic way?
Do it. Anything in life you're interested in is not by mistake.
Mm,
It's either for you to do it and find out it ain't for you, or to do it and find out this is something you should have been did. So the more you hesitate, that's when things decline.
ooh, that's true.
So just do it. Whatever you do in life, you just that's I think when people say I got potential, potential is a waste of talent. Why potentially potentially do something later that you can do now? So you have the potential, you have the talent right now. So just do it. You know, I hate when people say try. Try is a failure. Just do it.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
what if I do it and don't succeed? No, you did succeed because you
That's
did
right.
it.
But you did it.
And then guess what? If you want to do it better, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. You're going to do it again. And what they say, you get better with repetition. Repetition makes you better, you
That's
know? So
right. Right.
try nothing and don't wait for nothing.
Do
Just
you? Oh, go. My apologies.
go.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask, do you write every day?
No.
Okay.
Now, I have different spells where I could be writing every day. Like right now, I haven't written in 3 weeks.
So does it feel funny? And then you just receive the downloads and then you just grab a
It
pen?
feels it's still funny, but then I get into a little something, then I relax. But I've been preoccupied with a whole bunch of slew of things, which I should be done with. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
love writing. I
Yeah,
don't
it is.
write. I don't write. When I do my poetries in my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I was,
My memory is impeccable.
oh, really? Oh, well, that's really nice. That definitely helps when it comes to reciting poetry because I love poetry, but it's about taking the time to remember and putting it all together. So it is definitely an art, and so it's a craft, it's a skill, and I commend you on it. And do you have anything else coming out in the future? I know you said part two is coming out with your book. You have anything else going on?
Me growing and getting better and more stronger.
That's right, all the time. Well, I
New
truly,
version of me. That's coming
mm,
soon. A new version of me.
I like that. I like that. And if it doesn't produce a new version, then something's wrong because you should always be growing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. How can people find you?
Well, I'm not hiding. So you can join me at you see it right there on the screen. Kamal Speaks with the number one
Yeah.
on all platforms. Look out my events. Come out to the event when the movie drop. Check that out. Um, come and see me and buy a book. Cause the host is gonna buy a book. How many copies do you want?
I definitely get. I'm gonna buy one right now.
She said, I'm definitely one.
I was like, okay, you got me.
It's always good to laugh and smile. That's medicine.
Yes, it is.
You know the body, when you're mad, deteriorates in some shape, form, or fashion. So you cripple your body when you're mad. When you're smiling, when you're learning, when you're growing, when you're in good spirit, that actually cures the body.
Yes. Yeah. Very therapeutic. Wow. Wow. Well, thank you so much. I would love for you to come back in the
Oh,
future.
this is an
Okay.
excellent show, so I'll be back. And then,
Yeah.
then next time I come back, you buy 5 books.
Touche. Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking with you again pretty soon.
Thank you so much, Goddess.
Thank you. All right. Peace. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I definitely did. And I mean, he is an amazing gentleman. Make sure you find him. It's Kamal Speaks #1 on the social media, and get his book. It's in Amazon and other places, but definitely keep in touch with this brother. He is definitely a true trailblazer. And I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Beyond Boardroom Business with your host, Coach Stephanie. And until next week, because I am here every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until the next time, stay prayerful, stay positive, and stay present. I hope you all have an enjoyable rest of your evening. Peace.